Hey folks, and welcome back to the Wise Money Women channel. I'm Jordan, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to stop overspending. So if you find yourself having more month than money every paycheck, then this is going to be the video for you, and you're going to want to stick around. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also the bell so that you can get notified when we add new videos to the channel. So everybody tries hard to make sure that they're able to pay all their bills and to still be able to get the things that they want. But the only thing that happens is, we have to buy stuff. And sometimes we can end up going over budget and ending up having to get into credit card debt or all kinds of things that just cause us so much drama and make us feel like we are just not good at our money. In order to combat that, we're going to talk through a couple of tips that you can use that will help you to get that overspending under control. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to get a budget. Now, I know I hate the word budget. I know you hate the word budget, but if you've been overspending consecutively for a bunch of times, then you really need that strict, stringent budget to get you reined in just for the short period of time. You're going to want to make it really realistic. So you will take on what your income is, you will subtract what your expenses are, and then we will work with whatever is left throughout the rest of this payment period. So it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to go out and get an app. You can do it really easily with just a piece of paper and a pen. So that's a great way to kind of get you started so you know how much funds you have available to spend on other things because you know that your primary living expenses are already subtracted from your income. Now, the next thing that you want to do to get your spending under control might be to try using cash. So go on an all cash diet. Again, it's super inconvenient. Nobody really wants to do that. But again, when you've been in the process of overspending for some time, it can feel a lot different when you have cash to spend. And it's easier for you to keep track of your money because guess what? When you look in your wallet and you only have $10 left, then you know when your $10 is done, you're done spending. So going on a all cash diet can be super helpful to rein in those expenses that you haven't been tracking or have been using to go over your budget. While we're talking about spending, let's talk about tracking what you're spending your money on. Yes, it is going to suck. This part is painful. It's hard to have to walk around with a piece of paper and pen to write down every time you buy something, or if you put it in your phone on a notes app. But just that practice of having to think about every time you spend something, what you bought, how much you paid for it, and how much money you have left available to spend can really help you have more conscious spending and help rein in some of those overspending habits that a lot of us kind of contract when we're just spending money, especially with our cards. The next thing that you might want to do, especially if you're not really a fan of having to withdraw cash, is to use my multiple bank account framework. So you want to separate your money that you're going to use for your personal spending. So you can have one bank account that is solely for your expenses. So you put all of the money for your rent, your utilities, any of your basic living expenses. You put all those funds into one bank account, and then you separate that from the money that you are going to be using on a regular basis. That way you never have to worry that you're going to accidentally spend your rent money or that you're going to spend more money than you needed to and have trouble paying your utility bills because those funds are completely separate. Another tip that you can do when we're talking about budgets is to not just do the regular monthly budget that folks normally do. You want to break down that monthly budget into smaller bite-sized pieces. So you want to divide that up by 4 so you can have a weekly budget, and then further divide that by 7 so you can have a daily budget. Because if you just need to keep track of how much you're allowed to spend today, it is a whole lot easier for you to stay on target than if you're trying to figure out how much you need to have by the 28th of the month when it's only the 15th right now. So if you make a mistake with a monthly budget, it's so much harder for you to get back on track. Whereas if you make a mistake with a daily budget, so you messed up today, that's perfectly fine. tomorrow is a new day with a new budget. It's a lot easier to keep track of how much you are allowed to spend. And if you want to get more help on how to budget, then go ahead and tell me in the comments and I'll be happy to do a video on that so that we can go into the details of how to create a budget that works for you. Another good tip for you to stop overspending with is to create systems in place so that you are less likely to overspend just because the opportunity isn't there. So a lot of the other tips that we talk about does require some willpower. You do have to write down and track your spending. You will have to go and withdraw the funds from cash and to be able to use those cash funds and stay on budget. But in order for you to have a lasting method of not overspending, you need to create systems that make it harder for you to do so. So I'm talking about things like removing your credit card from your favorite online stores. So if you have your credit card saved in Amazon or Target or any of those places where you're known to buy more than you really anticipated, then you're going to want to just remove those cards and make things harder for you to do that. And that also goes for your wallet. If you know that it's really easy for you to just pull out your credit card and to use it and end up spending more than you should, then remove your credit cards from your wallet. Make things harder for you to overspend. Make it inconvenient for you to spend more, and then you're able to rein that overspending in a lot faster. And one final tip that I want to share with you that is really powerful is for you to really think about your why. Like, why are you trying to spend less? Is it because you want to get out of debt? Is it because that you want to save more money so you can go on a dream vacation? Is it because it just helps you feel like you're more in control of your finances and able to live the life that you want? You need to be thinking about why you're doing this, because that's what's going to stop you from making those decisions in the short term that heavily impact where you really want to go in the long term. And another thing that you can ask yourself to make things easier for you or much clearer on if you should overspend is to say, is this purchase that I need to make more important than X? So if you wanted to go on vacation to Bali, then the question is me buying this pair of shoes more important than going to Bali? Would I be willing to delay or not go to Bali at all because I really want this shoe? If the answer is yes, you have no problems delaying or just not doing your goal, then buy your shoe. You don't even have to worry about it. If it ends up being that, no, this is not worth it to me, I would prefer to go to Bali, then you have your answer. And that will make it so much easier for you to cut out some of the excessive spending that you might be encountering because you're not thinking in the long term. All right, and one bonus tip for you, because I love bonuses. This bonus tip is for you to try doing a no spend challenge day. So that's where you pick one day where you actually attempt to not spend on anything. So this requires a little bit of planning. So if you know you need diapers, you probably should get that the day before. And if you know you're going to need gas, then you go ahead and do that the day before as well. But the idea is to give you one day where you don't spend. And believe me, it is a lot harder than you think. But it gives you the chance to just reboot that setting in your mind of constantly taking out your credit card. Because every time you think about taking out your credit card or your debit card, you're going to be remembering that, I am on a no spend day. I can't do that. And you put it back. Trust me, you will be surprised as to how many times you find yourself spending on a vending machine or for gas or, a coffee or something when you're actually thinking about it most of the time, at least for one day. So those are my quick tips for you to help you to get your spending under control and to be able to live a little bit better within your budget. So if that was helpful to you, I hope that you go ahead and like the video because, YouTube likes that. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you can get notified when we have more tips and tricks, tools, and strategies that are going to be available in video to help you to get out of debt, build wealth, save more money, and be able to master your money and ultimately transform your life.